Alright, we have game 2 here, and it appears to be quite straightforward, really. There's no plus action, so you can only play one terminal per turn, and there's nothing really exciting on the board. It seems like you just want to get some advisors and some money and go from there. Fairgrounds is something you should consider, and it seems like it is easy to get your Fairgrounds up to 4 points, but not so easy to get it up to 6 points. Right, so we are both going to open with an armory here, going after the advisors. Advisor in a deck that doesn't have much traction or any traction at all isn't that great, but if you give your opponent 10 of them, it'll do good work. So I go advisor, armory silver, searching for a replace. My opponent goes with the armory and the courtyard. So the courtyard does come out early up and gets up my opponent up to an advisor, and presumably he can stick his armory back to pick up even more advisors, right? So this is a good hand for me here. I'm able to pick up both an advisor as well as a replace, and hopefully my replace can find some of these estates and convert them into advisors. So going to deny the advisor, that usually anytime somebody plays advisor, you want to cut out the draw. So as much as possible, try to cut out the draw from entering into their hand. So here I could save here actually. My opponent actually made use of save on the first turn or the second turn. And this is the first time I'm going to make use of save here to make this estate Misty Shuffle. I wasn't paying attention before that, so I may have missed opportunities to use save, but now I seem to have realized, okay, you can make use of save if you have a bit of extra cash. So right now the advisor split is not looking good in my favor. My opponent picks up his first silver there, which is nice, and I'm going to be able to replace rather one of my estates into an advisor. And the nice interaction there is that it goes on top of the deck. Of course, saving away this armory for later. Hopefully I'll get an advisor off of it, but that doesn't seem likely given the amount of draw my opponent is having here. So it means on the purchase of this last advisor, the split actually goes in his favor, I believe, 6-4. So that's not good for me, obviously. He has 6 advisors plus a courtyard. He has a bunch of draw in his deck now, right? So he'll probably be looking to add treasures, silvers, and golds, and then go after the provinces, really. So, well, what is my play here? Alright, my play is to just try to do the same, right? Add money to my deck, of course, but there's also Fairgrounds, so I need not worry so much about going after the provinces that quickly. I can catch up with the Fairgrounds, potentially. And actually I do have a nice draw here with my advisors, and I'm able to both save an advisor for next turn and pick up a hireling. So the hireling will help to supplement my draw. So it's not the end of the world that I lost the advisors, but it's obviously bad, right? Advisor is nice draw on this board, non-terminal, drawing 2 cards. Hireling you have to take a turn to set aside, which means you're not playing your replace or armory or whatnot. And actually by this point the armory seems very unattractive now that the advisors are empty. However, it does make an excellent target for replace, so I can potentially replace my armory into a hireling or a gold or a treasury or something along those lines. For now, I don't have that opportunity, so I'm just going to convert one estate into a silver. It goes on top of the deck, and it means there's a non-zero chance that my hireling is not going to be in my starting hand, but I thought it was worth the risk, and it worked out here, right? 83% chance. That's good enough at this point. So, and I managed to pick up another hireling. So I have a couple hirelings. My opponent has none yet, so that's good for me. good news for me. Also, he has all of his estates. I've managed to convert a couple of mine. I will not convert my last estate in view of the fairgrounds, right? In view of the fairgrounds. Currently, I have the estate, copper, silver, that's 3, advisor 4, hireling 5, replace 6. So I just want to keep it around in case I need that to be my 10th unique to bring my fairgrounds up to 4 points. I don't expect it to go up to more than 4 points this game. It's quite difficult to get it up to 6, but you never know how the end game will play out. Maybe I'll have to make that play. So bunch of terminal collision for me here, and unfortunately I have to save this hireling to play next turn. And the replace kind of goes to waste on this turn, but oh well, you have to do what you have to do, right? And I'm gonna buy a silver here. Remember, this is a money game essentially, right? There's no plus buy, there's a gain in replace, and there's outpost as well. There's also a gain in armory, but it's a money game, so you need money to do things in this game. Money is a big payload thing here. So my opponent is going after the hirelings as well. They have a brace as well. However, I am able to stick mines and play much sooner than my opponent. He has a treasury. I'm going to pick up one treasury just for the purposes of the fairgrounds, right? Just to get comfortably up to 10 uniques, right? So my next step at this point is to go for 2 gold. Now the reason for 2 gold is that 1 is replace fodder, because if I replace 1 and it's out of the deck, at least I still have the other gold to count as a unique. So that's why I want 2 golds. And actually 2 golds, there's another reason for doing it which I hadn't thought about during the game, but it makes it more likely that you find one of them in your hand. The issue with advisor in this type of deck, very spaced out, very junky, is that your opponent can easily discard all your key terminals or key money. Like if you have 1 gold, your opponent could just deny that and you'll never see that gold for the shuffle, which is sad. So having the 2 obviously increases your chances as well. So I didn't realize that with the advisor. That's one characteristic of such an advisor deck as we are playing here. You really are relying somewhat on how well you draw your terminals, especially. Potentially I could never play this replace for the rest of the game if it comes up bad with my advisor. My opponent could always just deny replace. I'll never see it for the rest of the game. So that's something you have to bear in mind when building this deck. That's why save is actually a big deal. So if you have terminal collision, you probably want to save one of your terminals and make sure you have it in hand for your next turn. If you're lucky to have terminal collision, in some sense having terminal collision here is good, because you could guarantee playing at least one of them and saving one of them for the next turn. So I have now both my hirelings down. My opponent, I believe, just has the 1, and he has to find the other one. I'm going to make that as difficult as possible for him, of course. Finally here I'm able to replace my armory. I did think about just keeping it for the unique, but I think I'm safe with my uniques at this point. Now the choice is between gold, the second gold that I want, and another hireling. And I think about it for quite some time, and I think I go for the hireling at this point. So the hireling goes on top of the deck, which is important, right? I don't want the gold on top of the deck, because I would like to stick my hireling and play as soon as possible. And I believe here is another gold. So the reason for a third hireling is because now I'm starting to think about outposts. If you have 3 hirelings in play, you get a decent hand for your outpost turn, and your outpost could count as a second turn obviously, but it could also act as a plus buy here, right? An opportunity to buy another card, and that resource is very, very rare on this board, the plus buy or the extra gain. Realistically is just replace and, well, outpost if you could set it up. So I'm trying to set it up here. A pillage for my opponent, so I have to be careful of that, though I'm not too worried about it given that the hireling resolves after the pillage, so I could still draw into good stuff and be perfectly fine on my turn. Of course, it could be particularly nasty, but we'll have to see when he plays it. That's another thing I have to keep an eye out for when he plays his advisor. So here now I am going to pick up the outpost, I believe. Is it on this turn? I'm not entirely sure. It seems like here I want to be saving the replace and picking up the outpost. Yeah. Oh, I don't save the replace, I save the gold actually, and I go for the outpost here. Another thing save allows you to do is to kind of spread out your money a bit, which is good in this kind of game. Because there's a non-zero chance that your money clumps, right? And if you could save a gold or a silver for next turn to better your chances of hitting a province, that's obviously nice. Obviously nice. So there goes my opponent's pillage. So he is probably not playing that on me this turn. That's the issue I was talking about with seeing your terminals, right? It's not always guaranteed to do so. So you have to be kind of selective and lucky sometimes. So here, okay, my opponent replaces his gold with a province. Now, I don't like it because that's very, very early in the game to get rid of your only gold. You need to get through like 4 or 5 provinces here, and you would really like to have that gold around until very near the end. But it's maybe he's thinking about finishing the game more quickly. So I have to be careful of that. He has his 3 estates and he's also picked up 2 provinces, replaced gold and bought a province. So there is some potential for him to go replace province into province to thin out the province pile, and that would in the meantime junk me. So here, look, this is what I was talking about. As I said that already, right? But my replace and my outpost gets discarded. So I was really hoping to see one of them, so I would pick up an extra gain on this turn, but as is, I have to settle for just the 1 gain here. This is where I realized one of the limitations of the advisor type deck here. You're not always going to see your terminals to play. So just saving the gold and picking up a single province. I have to go for it now and try as best as possible to deny my opponent's replace. I don't want him to truncate the game. So here I am going to cut it out from his hand completely. It does give him an advisor. And like I said, usually you do want to cut the draw out from the 3 cards, but I needed time. I needed time in this game, and I felt that denying the replace would allow me time because he has no other source of extra gain. He's now restricted to just the 1 gain. He doesn't have the outpost, and now he doesn't have the replace, so that is good. However, he still has enough money for a province, so that's 3 for him and 1 for me. So now I need to start looking at alternative scoring plans, right? Most notably the Fairgrounds, which are ripe, meaning they're set up to be worth 4 points for me. So I'm going to start to target that pile a little bit here. With the gold out of his deck, I do expect that he will have some difficulty going through all 4 provinces if it comes to that. Okay, so you usually play your advisors first just to give your opponent as little information about what you have in your hand. So I could have played the treasury first, but I'm going to reserve that play for after all the advisors have been played. At this point I'm considering top decking an advisor. Well, by top decking I mean saving an advisor for my outpost turn. I know my replace is coming up. I don't want to play this advisor and have him discard my replace. It means I don't get to use it, right? That's not something that I want to have happen to me. So instead, what I am going to do is, instead of top decking the advisor, actually, I am going to save. I keep saying top deck. I'm going to save a silver because I know that my replace is coming up. My hirelings will draw me into my replace on the outpost turn, and I will be able to replace this guy into a duchy. So I'm able to pick up effectively province duchy on that turn, which is nice. Plus I could still buy something on my $3 hand, but I don't really think anything is worth it to do so. It does mean I'm going to be able to save something though. So I save the province again if I am in a position where I can make the replace province into province play, then I can do it because I've saved my province rather than saving the estate there or any money. So that's the reason for saving the province. And here my opponent actually stalls. So it doesn't come up with a lot of money at all, just a single advisor even. And he has money to pick up a duchy, but instead goes for outpost at this stage of the game. I felt it was a bit too late for that. He does have the extra 2 advisors, so maybe he could have made use of that a little bit earlier in the game. So now this is an interesting decision point for me here. What do I do? Do I replace the gold into province? That seems bad because he could get 2 and end the game. So what do I do? Replace curse into estate and junk him by Fairgrounds, saving something. My play is actually none of those. I am going to actually save the replace. Save the replace and pick up our Fairgrounds. Why do I save the replace? Because I want to be able to be in a position to gain 2 things on one turn if my opponent decides to go for province. So I could potentially punish him for picking up our province here. Also, I know I have a second gold coming up, so maybe my replace will find the second gold and be able to remodel that instead, or replace that instead. So said, so done. I do find the second gold here with the replace, so that's nice. I also find my outpost, which is nice. So it seems like that play worked out for me here. And my opponent is going to have a much better turn this time, but he is going to pick up a province here, and that opens up a window for me to finish the game. So again, denying the pillage. I don't want him to pluck the replace out of my hand. That's something I was concerned about. That's something I was very concerned about. But I deny that. I also deny the outpost, denying 1 gain from my opponent. He replaces a curse into an estate, and he picks up the province, which, like I said, allows me an opportunity to finish the game. So now I just need to find enough money to close out the game here. So I have $4 in hand. I'm not counting the gold because that has to be replaced into province. This is going to be 6. This is going to be none. Things are looking grim. All I have left is a single treasury. If I don't find money, I'll have to make some alternative plans, but I do find a silver, which is exactly enough to finish the game. So replace gold in the province by province, and that closes out the game here. This was a very grindy uphill battle for me in this game. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.